For this week's webinar, we are featuring the use of drones for rehabilitation and development purposes of some known bodies of water in the country. These are Manila Bay and Marikina River. Our speaker from DNR NCR will show how drones are being used currently in the Manila Bay Rehabilitation Program with the goal of producing base maps that will be utilized for easement recovery along waterways. While another GE based here in Region 5, we'll talk about the use of drones in the feasibility study and detailed engineering design of the flood protection works in the Marikina River. To give a brief backgrounder on our speakers, let me call Engineer Realin De Alca, the Director for Projects and Administration of the Foundation for Economic Freedom. Ms. Rhea.
Hi, good morning everyone. So our first speaker today is Engineer Patrick Macazo. He's a geodetic engineer who has been with the DNR National Capital Region for 7 years already. He has undertaken several projects with the agency, and the most current one is as a team leader of the survey and mapping team of the Manila Bay Rehabilitation Program. For this endeavor, he became a certified CAAP RPA controller. He is a member of the Geodetic Engineers of the Philippines and the Philippine Geodetic Engineers and Geomatics Society. Prior to his current stint in DNR NCR, he worked for GP Artieda Surveying Office. Engineer Macazo graduated with a degree in Geodetic Engineering from Piatti University in 2012. So, si Patrick, naging estudyante ko din pala yan. So, our second speaker is Engineer Jose Gabino Jr. He is a jack of all trades. So, before we had a speaker, si Engineer Alan Florin, who had like 5 professional licenses. But ito, may humahabol. Engineer Gavino is an airman. He is a geodetic engineer, an ASEAN engineer, real estate broker, real estate appraiser, environmental consultant. He is also a businessman, a survey contractor, a drone advocate, and a CAAP authorized RPA controller. He is currently the president of Geodetic Engineers of the Philippines, Camarines Sur chapter, and the principal geodetic engineer and authorized managing officer of Altera Geomatics and Construction. He will give us more details on this in his presentation. As Altera's head, Engineer Gavino has completed several foreign-funded projects in different parts of the country. So let's keep this rolling. We will begin with Engineer Patrick Macazo. Take it away, Patrick.
Yes po, ma'am. Good morning sa lahat. Good morning. Pa-share na lang ako, ma'am.
Sige po. Ayun.
Wait, i-full screen natin. Uy, bakit thank you agad? Yan. So, yun. Good morning sa lahat, no? Siguro na magpapasalamat muna for inviting na sa Manila Bay Rehabilitation Program gamit yung drone. So, start na po tayo. So, ito yung magiging presentation namin, no? So, yung outline is introduction, konting background, paano namin ina-apply yung drone dun sa survey ng Manila Bay, benefits, drawback, at insights. So, ano muna, konting introduction muna, bakit siya, ano? Bakit? Ayan. Medyo may konting in-adjust lang tong kasama ko. Pasensya na. Sige po, balik tayo. So, introduction ulit tayo, no? Yung DNR NCR, in-adapt yung drone survey for the mapping dun sa buong Manila Bay Rehabilitation Program. Doon sa Manila Bay Rehabilitation Program, hindi naman porkit dito sinabi na Manila Bay ay Manila Bay area lang. So pati mga waterway, yung mga ilog, creek, sino-survey din ang survey team. So ito, saan ba nag-umpisa talaga ito, tong Manila Bay Rehabilitation? So nag-umpisa ito doon sa sa Supreme Court decision noong 2008 na compelling 14 agency for the clean-up, restoration, preservation ng Manila Bay. So in support dun sa order ng korte, yung Regional Executive Director ng DNR NCR nag-create ng technical team na magiging responsible for the survey and mapping ng legal easement ng lahat ng waterway within the Metro Manila. So doon talaga nag-start tong technical team. So siguro banggitin ko na lang din yung composition ng team namin. So ayan, si Engineer Ana as head ng technical team at ako yung team leader. So doon biniyak namin into two teams yung project, merong processing team at merong field team. So yan kung makikita nyo. At syempre, meron tayong registered pilot. Sa processing team, meron tayong mga engineers na na-assign dyan, tsaka sa GCP. So ito. Application, drone application in work. So ano bang objective talaga namin? Objective is to drone mapping aims to provide a direction in the easement recovery as well as full implementation of Manila Bay rehabilitation to ensure the maximum coverage in terms of various intervention through spatial assessment and monitoring. Ang specific objective ng team is to determine the original and actual course and width of the river, to determine kung nasaan yung mga legal easement along waterway, at kung ano-ano yung mga physical structures that within the area, yung mga ISF, private property na naka-encroach sa river, yun yung mga ina-identify namin. So, siyempre, yung number of structures, kung ilan silang lahat. So, ito, application. Paano namin siya na ginagawa? No? Yung sa drone. I-categorize namin yung survey in 3. Siyempre, yung meron kaming tinawag na pre-survey, actual survey, tsaka yung post-survey. Doon sa pre-survey, doon pumasok yung mga research, plotting and coding. Sa actual survey, yung reconnaissance, design ng control, establishment ng GCP, observation, yan. Tsaka yung post-survey, yung mga processing, paka-mapping. Discuss ko na lang isa-isa siguro. So ito, sa pre-survey, papasok nga yung research and coding and plottings ng plans and titles. So basically, yung mapping na ginagawa namin, nagre-recon siya talaga sa mga technical descriptions na na-approve, tsaka yung may mga titulo. So doon namin kinukuha kung nasan ba yung legal easement at gaano ba talaga kalaki yung dating water body. So, doon sa actual survey naman, after namin mabuo yung figure ng ilog, pwede naman to sabay, actual survey tsaka pre-survey. We do reconnaissance and coordination. Reconnaissance, sa drone mapping, napakahalaga ng reconnaissance kasi ang reconnaissance ang magdidetermine ng mga flying height mo pagdating sa drone. So ito talaga bago kami mag-start, sinusuyod namin yung area. Kasama na rin doon, sinasabay na rin namin yung coordination sa mga barangay affected para ma-orient sila na merong ganitong proyekto ang gobyerno. So yan, pasok yung yung CAAP, barangay and local. So ginagawa din namin syempre yung design ng ground control before din siguro habang nagre-reconnaissance ka, nakakapag dito maganda yung maglagay ng mga GCP. So yan, kasama na rin yan sa ginagawa namin sa reconnaissance. Tsaka yung flight planning, halos dala-dala na rin namin yung controller ng drone para ma-adjust namin yung flight plan. So next, after namin makapag-reconnaissance and design ng control, siguro establish an observation na ng control. Yan, kung makikita nyo sa picture, ang nilalagay lang namin pako, tapos nilalagyan lang namin yan ng tarpaulin. So ganun namin siya nilalagay. So next, ayan. So ito yung pictures namin na habang nagdo-drone. Kung mapapansin nyo, puro naka-PPE kasi COVID na nito eh. Yung mga picture namin sa previous, hindi ko matanda sa ako na ilagay. Pero ito yung latest. So ayan, yan yung tarpaulin na nilalagay namin, tapos pinababantayan namin yan sa mga survey aids natin. So after natin mag-conduct ng survey, syempre, papasok na yung processing ng drone image. So, yan na yung sa office works, no? Then after natin makagawa ng ortho photo, nag-overlay na tayo ng map overlay analysis. So yung mga nakuha nating records such as titles, plans, tsaka yung mga cadastral maps na in-scan, so pinagpapatong-patong natin ito at kinukuhaan natin ng tinatawag nating best fit method para ma-determine natin yung exact location kung nasan ba yung legal easement sa ground. So parang ganyan yung ginagawa namin sa office. After ng map overlay analysis, ano pang ginagawa ng office namin? After ng map overlay, kung na-determine na natin ng office namin yung legal easement tsaka yung width at old course at actual course ng river, lahat ng mga structures na na-identify namin within, ay dinidigitize namin ito para magkaroon siya ng attribute table sa GIS. Tapos nilalagyan din namin to ng information. Kung kaya namin kunin yung pangalan ng tao, ng may-ari ng structures o yung establishment kung ano yung structures na yon, isinusulat na namin. And then isinasubmit na ito for revalidation sa ground for ground truthing. Ito yung magiging basis nila, itong maps na to. So next, map creation. So yun, after namin mag-digitize nga, so tine-template na natin yung mga mapa. So parang ganyan yung output na lumalabas sa amin at tinadadala namin sa central office. So pino-polygon siya, tapos tong red line is the legal easement at yung blue line is yung actual na end bank ng river. So, syempre katugon ng mapa, meron tayong dapat na GE report. So dapat laging merong GE report tsaka transmittal to the central office ng DNR for evaluation tsaka filing ng case kung sakaling aabot tayo dun sa kasuhan dun sa area. Kasi paniguradong lalaban yung mga tao pag sinasabi nating naka-encroach sila sa mga water body. So ayun. After namin mag-survey, mapping, then report. So ito, parang sample namin sa isang project. Ito yung mga naging output namin. So ito ay San Juan River na meron siyang 7.5 kilometer. So nung nagpalipad kami dito, konting share ko lang siguro. Siguro gumamit kami ng 9 na baterya gamit yung drone namin. Tagto 20 minutes, 15 minutes yung flying time. So parang umabot siya ng 131 minutes. In 131 minutes, sa buong area nakapag-establish kami ng 32 ground control station at nag-produce siya ng 2,102 image. So doon sa ganon katagal na flying time, nakapag-survey kami ng halos 300 hectares para dun sa area ng San Juan River. At nagawa lang to ng team in just 2 days and processing ng 4 days. So imagine kung i-actual survey ng survey team to using ng traditional survey natin, yung total station and GPS, baka hindi namin kayanin to in 2 days. Yung ganito kahabang project. So ito yung team composition. Siyempre dapat may licensed pilot, may assistant, laging may assistant yung magpapalipad, tsaka yung survey aides na magbabantay ng mga tarpaulin. So ito yung output namin, no? A map showing structures found encroaching the waterway and legal easement. This map serves as evidence to enforce environmental law. So dito, ine-expect talaga namin na once na minapa namin itong mga violation na ito, hanggang korte ito aabutin. Kasi alam niyo naman ng Manila, mga palaban ng mga tao dito. So ayun. So ito pa yung mga sample output namin along San Juan River. Kung makikita niyo yung mga structures na pumapasok sa loob ng legal easement. Yan. Medyo marami. Ayan. Ganyan namin ginagamit yung drone sa aming Manila Bay survey. So ito yung table. So ito. Along Ermitaño Creek ito, so nakapag-identify kami ng 474 structures na naka-occupied siya sa mga water body tsaka sa legal easement. So yan, kasama ito sa terminal report or GE report na sinasubmit namin. So benefits of drone sa office namin at dito sa project ng Manila Bay. So syempre, we save time in large area can be surveyed in short period of time. So yun, gaya nung pinakita ko kanina na San Juan River, in just 2 days ng actual survey, naubos namin yung 7.5 kilometer na merong 300 hectares. Yun nga, sinasabi ko nga sa total station hindi siya efficient. So sa manpower ganun din, benefits siya kasi kung kailangan mo magbuo ng at least 3 team kung doon ka sa traditional, pero dito isang team lang okay na. So ayun, ano pa ba? Improve safety. Less exposure of personnel to unfriendly environment. Bakit ko sinabi yung less exposure to unfriendly environment? Kasi doon sa survey team namin, most na naka-encroach talaga dyan yung mga informal settler family natin. So minsan hirap kaming pumasok dyan sa mga area na yan dahil maloloko yung mga tao. So ito, dahil sa drone, nalilesen namin yung mga part na ito. So volume of work, less calculation as compared to ground-based surveying. Ito yung parang lumang surveying yung pino-compute mo yung mga latitude departure ng mga actual survey mo, yung azimuth. So less computation na rin, more on processing na lang sa computers. So improve graphics, more detailed output as compared to output traditional. So alam naman natin yung drone, mas informative siya, tsaka appreciated siya ng pag pine-present namin ito kasi kila secretary, mas naiintindihan nila, hindi katulad nung ginagawa nating verification survey na may mga line, hindi nila maintindihan yon. Pero using yung ortho image, naiintindihan talaga nila ng maayos yung mga outputs nating mga geodetic. So ano yung drawbacks of drones dito sa metro? Mga na-encounter namin, siguro dahil nga nasa Metro Manila, maraming magnetic and signal interference na nakakaapekto sa drone. Tapos yung location of takeoff and open space is limited. Dito medyo nahihirapan din kami kasi maraming makikitid na lang halos yung mga open space. Kaya kung titingnan niyo yung picture, nasa ibabaw na siya ng 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 sasakyan pinalilipad. Visual line of sight, pag lumayo yung drone mo siguro ng mga 800 meters, wala na talaga kung hindi ka nasa mataas na pwesto. At yung high-rise building, so kung syempre magsiset tayo ng standard na at least 80 meters lang yung flying height, kailangan mo mag-segment by segment dito kung may mataas na building. Kung kailangan mong itaas yung drone, laging susuportahan dapat ng ground survey. Kasi once na magtaas ka, di ba, ng drone, medyo tumataas yung error at nagbe-blur yung image. So, ang support namin dyan is ground survey. So, next, insights, other applications. Siguro, ang nakikita namin dito sa drone, pwede siyang gamitin talaga for verification survey. Support ng ground survey tsaka drone survey. Most kasi na napapansin namin dito sa verification survey, hindi rin naman ganun ka-perfect yung interpretation pagdating sa survey. Minsan nagkakamali pa rin. Pero kung large area yung masasurvey mo gamit yung drone at makakapili ka ng best fit method gamit yung image, tapos susuportahan mo siya ng ground survey sa baba, eventually, napakasarap gamitin ng drone. So yun yung nakikita namin na pwedeng gamitin pa itong drone na ito. So yun lang. Thank you.
Okay.
So yun lang po yung gamit namin sa drone sa Manila Bay.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Patrick, for that presentation. Now we'll move to Engineer Gavino's presentation as well. Engineer Patrick, can you please stop sharing para makashare si ano?
Oo nga pala.
Ayun,
Sige.
okay na. Nagawa.
Okay.
Sige. Okay, Sir June, the spotlight is yours. Please do share your presentation.
Paano?
Sir, there's a button sa baba na may share screen. Ayun. So, while nag-share screen si Engineer June, Sir Pat, ang galing mo daw, sabi dito sa ating chat box. may fan ka po dito, may fan.
Nagpapa-shout out lang yan.
Pa-shout out. Ayun. Okay na, naka-share screen na si Engineer June. So, sir, ano na lang po, full screen. Ayun. Game.
Good morning, everyone. Let me share to you our experience. But before that, let me first introduce to you our company. Altera Geomatics and Construction is an accredited survey contractor by the DPWH and National Irrigation Administration. We do aerial mapping, feasibility studies, detailed engineering design, parcellary survey, and topographic survey for various national irrigation system. We also cater clients like Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, Philippine Ports Authority, which we completed 3 projects in Zamboanga Peninsula, 2 in Palawan, and 2 in Mindoro. and the University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines in Alubihid, Misamis Oriental. Altera started automated survey approach last 2011. 5 years later, knowing the potential and added help to the survey team, drone is incorporated in every survey we do. Currently, we have contracts with the Department of Education's Regions 9 and 12, which is the Site Development Plan Preparation, Topographic Survey, and mapping of 1,700 school sites. I am Engineer Jose Gabino Jr., Principal Engineer of Altera Geomatics and Construction, an ASEAN engineer, a geodetic engineer, a real estate appraiser, a real estate broker, an environmental consultant, and an airman. Also, I am the president of Camarines Sur chapter of the GAPI and PRC CPD monitor for Region 5. I have experience in drone operations, including recovery of drones, even if the drone navigation is turned off and beyond visual line of sight. Actually, in taking the skills test by CAAP, you will be advised by the examiner to turn off your GPS and fly your drone manually, meaning sensors and GPS aid are all turned off. We are CAAP certified RPAS operator with CAAP registered RPA fleet, with CAAP authorized RPAS controllers, and a CAAP registered training provider for flight check, skills, and knowledge test. We use drone in every project we undertake, not only because the contract requires us to do so, but because we need to assure that the result is accurate and of high quality output. Drone output cannot stand alone without the help of several processing software our office is using, and without field validation and verification. Today, I'm going to discuss about a project we accomplished early in January this year. This is Wawa Dam. For those who are not familiar with Wawa Dam, it is a project by the Americans and constructed in 1908. It is located in the upper Marikina River in Montalban, Rizal. 15 kilometers on the upstream of it is the ongoing Kaliwa Dam project. This time, our project is to design it if it is feasible to construct a retarding basin 10 kilometers below the existing Wawa Dam. The purpose of it is to serve as catchment and impounding area of storm water during heavy rains and to reduce the rapid flooding in the lower Marikina River. We also need to plan for the rehabilitation of the dam. This Wawa Dam today has no other purpose other than as a tourist destination. There are cottages constructed at the downstream. There are floating cottages on the upstream. There are informal settlers who constructed houses along the diversion canal. Some houses has no comfort rooms. Some have pig pens. And the result, garbage everywhere that clogged and silted all the tunnel diversion canal. Our project is undertaken by the DPWH and funded by a foreign loan from the Korean government. For the information of everybody, since 2017, DPWH reiterated the use of drone in monitoring infra projects. The department will take advantages of drone, satellite technologies, and geotagging to counter ghost project. Project and contract management procedures and application is a specific software which replaces previous DPWH monitoring system. There are challenges when encountered in the field. Some areas without access to the site. Some areas are hilly and mountainous. That conventional surveying is impractical. The dam site area is between two rocky mountains. The riverbed are covered by large rocks that we cannot walk on it and see the real bottom of the river. Our methodology: first, we conducted reconnaissance survey. We walk through the entire stretch and locate all available control points. We recover NAMRIA and DPWH control points within the project. And we constructed additional control points on the strategic locations. We also conducted ground control survey and static observation of existing and newly established ground control points. Back in the office, we process RINEX data. We do network adjustment and corrections of elevations in every point. This is how we do it. Using our adjusted network of points as our GCPs, we perform aerial mapping using our Mavic Air drone. Before takeoff, we perform calibration of drone compass. Actually, failure to calibrate the compass are common error of drone users who lost the drone due to aircraft disorientation. And using Pix4D and Agisoft, we process drone data and generate the DAM and control lines required. All data above water surface are from drone shots. Contour lines are generated from this data. On the other hand, we do the hydrographic survey to map out the river course and river bottom. We use RTK to counter-check generated contours on the ground. We also overlay it to the latest satellite imagery brought by the consultant from a foreign source. And upon checking and processing of topographic map, we perform profile and cross-sectioning of the river in every 20 meters interval. Here is a sample output. Cross-section processed using Civil 3D in AutoCAD. This is the plan and profile. This output become the basis of the design engineers for the structural and civil design analysis of the proposed retarding basin and construction of diversion canal. Notice that all buildings, road networks, trees on both banks of the river are all digitized using QGIS. DPWH and the foreign consultant are so meticulous that every details are so important to them. All river tributaries and drainages are all considered. There were random checks being done. Some commissioned by the DPWH and some are from foreigners to ensure its accuracy. Here are some few orthophoto maps from drone shots. Naka-overlay ang retarding basin. Yan, na-design na nila yung colored overlay na yan. Some portion of the river are realigned. Nag-design din sila ng slope protection and embankment. Iniwasan din nila yung mga bahayan, maraming buildings and occupants. At nag-concentrate sila sa mga vacant spaces. Ito po yung drawback namin. 10 years ago, we struggled to cope up with the timetable to perform this kind of work. We have 5 teams of surveyors deployed in the field every day for months, using only total station survey instruments. Worst thing is that even on rainy days, we are obliged to finish the job to avoid liquidated damages. There are areas that cannot be penetrated by fieldmen. Like for example, in one of our projects in Lanao, there is a training camp of MILF and the area is mountainous and without cellular signal. We have to vacate the site by 2 p.m. We double the expenses and number of people on convoy because we are always guarded by military. We encountered fault lines and we know that surveying is very risky and dangerous. Going back to what I had presented, field work was shortened, while the office work comprises the most man-hours. Drone flying in this particular project makes challenging maneuver and execution. Our foreign consultant and the end user are convinced of the completeness and accuracy of work. Georeference orthophoto maps and presentation of output with complete justification surely simplify complicated projects like this one. With this experience, the foreign consultant and the end user, as a rule of thumb, has been engaging our office in various projects, one of which is the ongoing Kaliwa Dam. Finally, this is the design output. The green one is the delineation of the retarding basin. This will hold temporarily the run of water from upstream. After the storm, surplus water will be released slowly to the river once the flooding subsided. That ends my presentation. Thanks to Foundation for Economic Freedom for giving me this opportunity to share our personal experience. One thing more is that for those who want to explore opportunities with drone, do not hesitate to try. There are avenues out there to help. Happy flying, everyone.
Ayun.
May
Thank you.
pa-applause.
May pa-applause tayo. Upgraded kahit pa paano. Okay, guys, if you have questions, please use the Q&A feature. So, parang wala pa nag-input. So, from my fellow panelists, if you have questions to our guest speakers, please shoot.
Sige, ako na muna. Question for Patrick. With the result that you have presented to the DNR management, ano na yung parang findings? Meron na bang parang tangible finding na you are pursuing right now?
Yes, ma'am. Meron sa ngayong may ongoing case dito sa DOJ. Isang illegal reclamation diyan sa Manila Bay. So gamit yung drone na discover natin yung nangyari. So na-raid ito. Tapos meron pa ring mga waterway tayo na na-submit na for ongoing reinvestigation ma'am ng may tinatawag kasi kaming KRA 5. So yun, rule of law. So lahat ng outputs ng survey team doon namin ibinabato for legal purpose. I-re-evaluate nila yung para sa case.
Mm-hmm. And aside from just DNR, kasi I know that there is a program of the government to identify yung mga informal settlements or mga settlements na nasa danger areas, do you also coordinate with other government agencies with regards to this?
Yes, ma'am. Interagency kasama natin dito ang MMDA, DPWH, tsaka NHA para diyan sa pagpapaalis tsaka yung relocation area. So actually dapat ang DPWH doon sa batas ang mag-eject, pero since may MMDA dito sa Manila, sila yung naatasan at ang NHA naman ang bahala sa relocation.
Okay, thank you. For
Yes,
Sir
ma'am.
Jun Gavino, sir, ano yung pinaka um, hindi naman bad experience. Ang pinaka malalang experience nyo with regards to yung drones nyo sa period na nagdo-drone kayo. Anong pinaka malalang nangyari sa drone nyo?
So far ma'am, wala naman po kasi summertime namin ito in-execute. Kumbaga walang gaanong ulan. And yun nga lang po dahil sa taas nung yung taas nung location ng dam site, pinaghati-hati namin yung paglipad ng aming drone. Anyway, strip topo lang naman ang requirement sa amin, hindi naman yung buong pati ibabaw ng mga mountains. So, nagkaroon po kami ng 4 na section, ang umpisa doon sa Wawa Dam Line hanggang sa San Mateo Bridge. Bali, 4 na sections po namin niliparan yun.
Thank you. Ayan, meron na tayong question.
May question na from Prof. Ping Lopez. For Patrick and June, kasama ba ang delineation ng 3-meter easement sa river sa projects ninyo? So, who wants to answer first? Okay.
Sa amin po, opo. Yun talaga yung dinedetermine namin, yung 3 meters tsaka yung actual tsaka old course.
3 meters pag urban area. Yung
Yes, ma'am. May mga certain lang dito na gaya ng Pasig River, 10 meters dahil parang may city ordinance na na-approve.
Okay. So kasi for other land type like agricultural and forest, iba din yung
iba din. Most 3 meters pag meron lang kaming na research na mga city ordinance or resolution, in-incorporate na rin namin yun.
Kasi yung mga LGUs natin, they also parang may set by law but they can still issue ordinances para for the protection.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir June?
Sa amin po, doon sa bandang taas, kasi may marami na doon ng mga occupants, yung mga bahay po doon ay halos may concrete structure na sila doon sa gilid mismo. Hindi na po hahabulin ng yun. Pero doon po sa may bandang San Mateo na malawak pa ang mga lupain na agricultural lands, doon po i-implement yung easement po.
Okay.
May question si Sir Ping, if this easement marked on the ground, paano nyo siya na delineate on the ground?
Ma'am Rhea, sa amin sa DNR, yung demarcation hindi pa namin siya ginagalawan eh. So purely mapping pa lang yung ginagawa namin sa ngayon at identification ng mga structures. Nandun pa lang kami sa step na yon. So siguro kung yung mga na-release naming output madesisyon na sa central office at i-order nila na i-mark namin, imamarka namin itong mga easement na ito. So nasa step pa lang kami ng mapping.
Okay. Thank you for that answer. May isa pang tanong regarding easements. Yung easement po ba based na sa actual course ng water body or should I consider po yung dating easement sa old plan? Sige, Engineer Gavina, meron po ba kayong sagot for that?
Ma'am, Yung actually kami sa stage pa lang ng feasibility studies. So ganun po sa sinabi rin ni Engineer Macaso kanina, yung sa implementation ay hindi pa po nag-materialize yun. So pero once po nag-implement ang project, ang sabi naman ng foreign consultant, yung layout nun pati yung dun sa easement ay bitatap pa rin kami kasi yung buong stretch ng project meron kaming mga nilagay na controls po.
Okay. Engineer Patrick, do you have anything to add to that? Sige.
Ganito, Ma'am Rhea. Dito sa part namin sa DNR, paano namin dinidelineate yung easement gamit yung mga technical description. So ito, nagbe-base to sa old record. Ako, parang ina-advise ko sa management na mas safe ang team kung dito tayo manggagaling kasi may legal na pinanggalingan to, may documents na pinanggalingan yung 3 meters legal easement na yan. Pero parang meron ding issue regarding sa existing dahil yan na yung existing. Yun lang, medyo sa ngayon, meron kaming dalawang maps na ginagawa. So, 3 meters from the actual course at 3 meters from the old course. Then, tinotos namin ito sa central office to decide.
Yung law,
Pero,
in Water Act, no? Philippine Water Act of, I don't know kung anong year.
ma'am?
Yung law na nagko-cover dito sa mga easements na to, legal easements, ay yung Philippine Water Act.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
next question po to Sir June and sa inyo ulit dalawa. Is drone survey or the product drone survey as compared to traditional survey now acceptable? I mean something like legal process like applying for land title. Sir, Sir George. Baka pwedeng hello, Sir George. Anyways.
Yes. Anong tanong?
Sir, baka kayo pwedeng sumagot nito. Is drone survey or the product drone survey compared to traditional survey now acceptable? I mean, something like legal process like applying for land title.
Dun sa ating meron tayong policy na nilabas ang Land Management Bureau kung saan ina-adapt na natin yung use of drones in surveying for titling. As long as the survey coming from the use of drones have been approved by the proper agency like DENR, so pwede itong gamitin for as basis for titling. Ang kailangan lang naman for titling is approved survey. So hindi sinasabi dito na it has to be a survey coming from a total station or coming from whatever instrument. So pwede pong gamitin ang drone. Yun.
Ayun.
Okay, paano ko lang, singit ko na lang yung ano. So yung LMC na yan, it's yung LMC number 2017. LMC number 2017-003.
Yan.
Any comment from Sir June or Patrick?
Sige,
sa amin po, ginagamit talaga namin ang drones para sa surveying kahit sa ibang titled or untitled property. Provided po na may counter-checking pa rin kami. Pero kung titingnan po natin sa computation niya, ang error of closure niya po ay acceptable na rin. Kaya sa tingin ko po, ang drone survey ay talagang dapat and pwedeng gamitin para sa next stage, which is the typing process po.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Maliit na yung error na na-encounter namin. Ako in terms sa horizontal pa lang, ma'am. Ang sa titling naman puro horizontal lang. So dun sa horizontal medyo maganda na talaga yung error. Basta maganda rin yung ground survey na mag-ground survey ka pa rin ng kahit papaano sa control.
Anyway, nadagdagan na naman yung yung parang weapons ng mga geodetic engineers in terms of yung mga instruments that we can use to survey and map properties. So ito Sir June, tinanong ko din sa iyo ang tanong ni Prof Ping. Have you ever tried using drones for verifying progress billing of contractors of public works projects yung sa DPWH po?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Kasi ngayon nga po, lahat ng projects ay meron ng geotagging. So, ini-input na lang po ngayon yung start and end ng project. Madali na pong i-trace sa kahit sa kung naka-upload po yan sa sa Google Earth, madali na po ma-determine kung ano ang exact length ng project po na kasi naka-reflect naman ng ang structure. And kung kung kailangan na actual, isang liparan lang po ng ng drone. Tapos madidetermine na po kung ano ang actual na na-accomplish base sa sa program over po.
Actually, parang
kami naka-accomplish na.
May nakita ako from UPC Sir Louis, Sir Louis, John Louis Pabela, yung parang real time na you can already see the progress of survey works kung asan ka man, and then parang remotely na nakikita ng kung sino mang clients, for example. May ganun na rin pong technology na while the kunwari yung survey team is doing their work sa kung saan man sang field, for example region 5 ganyan, so nakikita na siya in real time.
Yes po, meron na pong ganun.
Ayun, rumami yung ating mga questions. Okay, Sir June, to Sir Patrick pala, to Engineer Patrick from Engineer Alan Florin. To Engineer Patrick, kumusta sir yung difference ng actual and saka old survey? Halos parehas ba o malaki na ang difference with regards sa riversides?
Dito sa Metro, sobrang laki na ng pagbabago ng mga river. Meron kaming na-encounter na parang nasa 50 meters yung dating length niya. Parang ngayon nasa mga 20 na lang. Ang isa naming nakita ditong rason, ganito eh. So kung yung gilid ng ilog ay na-squatteran at sinipiling siya ng DPWH, hindi nila tinitira yung property line eh. Tinitira nila sa loob ng river. So nagkakaroon ngayon ng land, nagkaka-form ng lupa doon. Yun yung parang mga ina-identify namin sa ngayon. Siguro hindi rin talaga nila mapaalis at ayaw nilang madelay yung project nila. Pinaliit na lang nila yung ilog. Kaya ngayon nagkakaroon siguro ng mga baha-baha. Iyon yung isa sa parang na-discover namin.
Okay.
So,
Next.
lumiit na. Sige.
Okay. So, may malaki na yung difference. Sige, Ms. Rhea, go ahead po.
Pero meron kayong parang yung mga findings na ganyan din, Patrick, that you, like for example, mga findings such as yung difference kunwari ng ganyan na sinasubmit mo rin sa ibang agencies for their input?
Meron, ma'am. Actually, sinasabit namin ito bukod sa central office namin, ang head agency kasi ng Manila Bay Rehabilitation, MMDA. So, na-call na yung attention ng MMDA dito. Yung mga pinaliit na ilog at yung mga naka-overhang. Mapapansin mo parang nakaganon yung mga building. Gumawa sila ng legal easement pero overhang. Madidiscover mo sa ilalim. Nandun yung ilog. Yung mga ganyan. Na hindi na siya ma-cover ng yung mga ganong senaryo, hindi ma-cover ng drone. Akala mo may structure. Pero pag in-inspect mo na siya sa baba, makikita mo nandun sa ilalim yung ilog. Pero naman ma'am na nabigay na yan sa ibang agency.
Okay. Next question. Sir George, ang question na ito ay para sa iyo. From Ana Manga Valiente of DNR NCR. Attorney George, in your opinion po, ano ang tamang reference ng pag-identify ng easement? Old course or new course ng waterway?
Ang hirap naman ng tanong mo, pang showbiz. Ayan.
Definitely.
Dapat kasi merong ano yan eh, magiging case-to-case basis ang pagdedetermine kung merong violation. Pero kailangan mong gumawa muna sa aking opinion, kailangan mong gumawa ng baseline. Kung ang baseline mo ay malinaw na yung old course, ay yun ang smooth. So yun ang mas magandang gamitin. Pero pag ginamit mo kasi ay new course, pero smooth pa rin yung linya, okay din yun. What I'm trying to say is, kapag nakita mo yung guhit, tapos biglang may nag-abrupt na lumikong ganun, doon sa bago, ibig sabihin, hindi siya yung regular course, parang nabago na siya dahil may structure or something. So, yun ang sa pagdetermine mo ng kung lampas ba siya o hindi, case to case. Pero kung ako ang tatanungin mo, sa aking opinion, dapat yung new course. Kasi ngayon mo palang din-determine, ngayon mo palang masasabi kung nasaan ang, hindi alam ng tao kung nasaan yung guhit hanggang hindi mo ini-establish. So, hindi naman pwedeng ma-establish mo yung right doon sa old course na hindi pa niya alam kung nasaan ng dating guhit. Unless mapuprove mo na talaga ito ay abrupt, let's say, sa buong guhit noong river, siya lang ang abating o siya lang ang nakalabas. So, case to case yun, depende sa itsura ng magiging forma nung yung pagkakaguhit. Pang showbiz yun.
Pang showbiz.
Magaling. Okay. I think na nasagot ni Attorney George. Okay, meron tayong mga sumunod na questions. Ito po from Joel Marundan. Have you maintained a constant flying height for the whole course of the project, especially dams to the floodplain? Malaki yung difference in elevation. If not, how did you do broken flying heights? Also, what are their effects since scales will differ? Sir Bolts, if I understand this correctly, ito ba yung different altitudes when you fly the drone? Like how
Yes, ganun siya. Pero kung ano naman siya, yung effect naman niya halos, hindi naman siya magbabago yung scale niya eh. So, ang posibleng mangyari lang dyan, pwede mag-iba yung yung ground sampling distance, yung resolution ng bawat image. So, depende na sa pag-process eh. So, okay lang siya. Nasubukan ko na rin mag-process dati yung magkaiba ng flying height. So, merong isang 60 tapos isang 80. So, yung nangyari dati noon, sa 60 meters, hindi niya ma-process eh, sa mababa. So, meron lang siyang portion na fly ng 80. Nag-ano naman siya, na-process. So, hindi ko lang ma-check ngayon kasi hindi ko na makita yung file. Pero nag-ano siya, pareho lang scale. Nag-ano siya, yung software mismo mag-a-adjust.
Okay.
Hey, Sir June. Si Sir June, meron ba kayong ganyan?
May experience po ba kayong ganun, sir?
Actually po, nangyari yan sa amin dyan sa project na yan. Kasi kung makikita nyo po yung profile nung lugar, talagang malataas na bundok ang pagitan. Kaya lang po, ang ginawa namin, kasi strip topo lang naman siya, doon sa mismo, iniwasan namin yung matataas na portion ng bundok. And yung hatian namin po, doon sa mga strategic location na pinagtagpi namin siya ulit, wala nang gaanong effect doon sa mga major structures na dinidesign. Yun po.
About si Patrick, urban setting naman.
Ma'am, pwedeng medyo...
Yung, have you maintained daw a constant flying height for the whole course of the project? If not, how did you do the broken flying heights? So, pag may matataas na buildings.
Ma'am, yung kasing mga portion na yan, ma'am, yung portion na may biglang mataas na building, kung kailangan kailangan talaga yung portion na yon. Nagkakandak na lang kami ng itinataas namin ito pero para lang sa portion na yon. Pero dapat dito mag ground survey dito sa portion na to. Talagang ina-isolate lang namin yung portion na yon. As much as possible, nasa 180 to 100 meters lang yung flying height. At kung merong building na aabot ng kailangan mo taas ng mga 200 para na lang mabuo yung presentation mo sa portion na yon. Pero yung basis naman ng findings namin manggagaling naman sa ground survey. Iga-ground namin yung portion na magtataas. Hindi naman madami yan, ma'am, dito sa metro eh. Pero meron.
Thank you, Sir Patrick. Next question to Manay June. In one of your slides, I saw what appeared to be an Armalite wielding guy who wasn't in military uniform. How is security ensured? Did you have any unfortunate safety breaches somehow? How are LGU and police protection sought for and usually provided? Are there standard protocols? Kabalos po, Melvin Candelario.
Yes po. Yun po yung slide ko from Lanao area. Meron pong kampo doon ng MILF na instead na ang mag-guide sa amin ay military. Yung military po hanggang lang sa specific area na pwede silang doon na stop over nila. So after po nung line na yun, demarcation line, yung MILF na po ang nag-guide sa amin, yung naka M16 talaga. Pero hindi po kami papasok doon kung walang coordination ng police o military sa MILF. Parehas din po, hindi rin po kami pwedeng lumabas doon na wala rin coordination from MILF to police and military escort po. So, yung protocol pa rin po nasunod namin kasi nagko-coordinate po kami sa mga local government units. Doon naman po sa area na yun, kadalasan, karamihan and siguro lahat, boses lang po ng mayor sinusunod doon. Okay na. Sumusunod po sila lahat sa kahit military man yan o MILF doon, may mutual po sila, agreement. Yun po.
That's good to know, sir, na safe kayo sa inyong mga palipad. That's very important. Okay.
Coordination.
Yes, coordination. My next
Yes po.
from Jason Gabriel Pinza. To both speakers, how frequent do you plan on doing drone surveying? I mean, kailan nyo ulit plano mag-conduct nito and how often? Tsaka ano ang basis ng pag-set nyo ng frequency ng pag-conduct ng drone survey on the same study area that you presented earlier? Sa inyong mga work, how frequent do you do drone surveying? Once a month? Once a week? And how do you determine po na bukas mag-survey ako, next day hindi? Sige po.
Sa amin po, may mga ongoing projects kami ngayon. Actually, marami nga eh. Sa regions 9 and 12 po, 1,700 school sites po yun. And pinapaliparan po namin siya ng drone para sa actual image na kina-counter-check namin sa ground survey namin. Pagdating naman po doon sa frequency, depende po sa weather. Pero most of the time, ang magandang magpalipad ng drone ay sa umaga para yung mga between 9 hanggang 11, mga ganyan, yung kasi less pa po yung cloud cover niyan. So kumbaga, yung interference pa rin sa maganda pati sa resolution. Pagdating naman po doon sa mga area, sabi ko nga po doon sa area namin sa Mindanao, kung hindi pwede magpalipad ng drone, nagsisecure po kami ng clearance sa both parties po. Pwede sa MILF, pag-grant kami ng na magpalipad kami, ginagamit namin. Or sa military din po, ganun.
Kami naman ma'am, dito sa DNR NCR, halos naka-targets kami ng ng halos 600 kilometer na length ng mga waterway sa buong Metro Manila. Bukod pa yung mismong Manila Bay. So halos sabi ko sa team, kung pwedeng araw-araw tayo nagsusurvey, dahil bukod naman ng processing at bukod naman ng field team, araw-araw tayo magsusurvey. Basta maganda ang panahon, magsusurvey tayo. So ganun yun sa amin. So kung sa condition, tama si sir, mga ganong oras. Pero kami dito sa NCR, kahit mga alas 2, palipad kami niyan. Palipad. Pag kasi sobrang tanghali, sobrang liwanag, yung tarpaulin mo ang pangit ng ibibigay niya na image. So yun.
Sige po, Ms. Rhea.
Ingit lang na additional question para kay Patrick. So, ibig sabihin, even this pandemic times, talagang naka-mobilize yung drone team nyo?
Yes, ma'am. Nitong June, nakapagpalipad pa kami dito sa Manila, sa Metro. Pero pinatigil ni Director nung lockdown ulit, pinatigil niya nung nakita niyang pataas yung COVID. Kasi nandun kami sa may parte ng nabotas eh. Tapos nauna pang i-lockdown yung nabotas. Pero buti naman at binigyan kami ng mga protective suit. Kaya kung makikita niyo yung presentation, puro naka-PPE. Nag-negative naman lahat sa rapid nung tinest naman kami. So sa ngayon siguro mga 3 weeks na kaming naka-hold na dito muna, processing muna kami sa office, mapping. Next week kami bababa ulit. Na binigyan na kami ng clearance ng opisina.
Sige po. Next question from Sir Joel Marundan. What will be the remedies, legal or technical remedies, with regard to accretion, especially those rivers that were redirected or enclosed? Sino kaya ang Pwedeng ang sumagot nito ay yung ating guest speaker at si Sir George. Mukhang nakasmile si Sir George.
Patrick, ngayon, ano yung ginagawa nyo sa DNR NCR with regards to yung accretion?
Yung accretion, hindi pwedeng applyan yan ngayon dahil may suspension order si Secretary Pahe noon na hindi magtatanggap ng mga accretion application. So, lahat yan naka-hold. Pero dun sa mapping, yun lang, map pa rin kami ng actual tsaka old course kasi mamap namin yung mga accretion na yan eh. Yan yung lalabas na mga nag-overlap sa ilog eh.
Okay.
Sa application for titling naka-hold, ma'am.
Ano yun? May ano dyan, may secret dyan. Kapag yung application dumikit sa public land, hindi mo siya matitlean ngayon kasi public land yung kadikit, therefore untitled siya. So untitled siya, kailangan mo mag-apply for titling sa DNR. Yun yung naka-hold. Pero pag yung accretion mo nakadikit sa private land, pwede mo siyang applyan. Saan mo siya applyan? Hindi sa DNR. Kasi nag-accretion siya, dumikit siya sa private land. Sa LRA ka mag-a-apply. LRA. Paano magbibigay ng LRA? Only through courts. Kasi a-applyan mo siya sa court na for titling purpose because it is an accretion to a private land.
Yun pala yung secret doon.
Yan. So, pwede kang mag-apply kung nakadikit sa private land.
Okay, move on to the next question from Sir Filipino Carlos Sica. I am wondering why you have so many GCPs considering that it's very hard to establish them. Are you not using something like PPK or RTK? Not sure the terminology. And how did you establish your GCPs? Mahirap bang mag-establish GCP sa Metro Manila?
Ma'am, ganito. Yung establishment ng GCP, actually, nung naka PPK, RTK yung opisina. Ang sinabi sa amin ay hindi nyo kailangan mag-establish ng maraming PPKR, ng maraming GCP. Pero sa akin, sa part ko, mas mabuti na para sa akin na lagyan pa rin for ground checking. Parang naninigorista lang ako sa part ko dahil mahirap din yung masyadong masyado kang tiwala sa instrument. So yun lang yung ko. Doon sa establishment ng ground control dito sa Metro Manila, most ng napaglalagyan namin mga nasa kalsada. Hindi rin naman kami makapasok sa mga private property na may rooftop. So kung minsan pipili lang kami ng mga area na may konti lang yung may sasakyan na dumadaan at nilalagay namin minsan sa center line or kung minsan iginigilid lang namin na may open yung area. So yun po.
Ikaw, Sir June. Ay, sorry, Patrick.
Sige po, okay na po.
Ikaw, Sir June, paano po yung pag-establish nyo ng GCP sa inyong case?
Doon po sa project na present ko po, yung GCP po doon, kasi mahaba siya, 16 kilometers siya. So obligado kaming gumawa talaga, nag-establish kami ng mga new GCPs. Tapos meron din yung mga na-recover namin from DPWH before. In-observe namin po ng ng RTK namin at saka nagkanda kami ng anong tawag yan? Re-observation noon at pre-analysis namin ang mga corrections sa every elevation, every point na namin para makuha namin yung tamang elevation nung mga bagong establish namin ng GCPs. Tapos nung na-correct na namin yung mga elevations na yun na po ang ginamit namin sa paglipad ng drone namin.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Sir, may question pang isa po regarding naman sa pag-process ng data. How long did it take you daw po to process the data per kilometer times 100 meters? Wide of project area for photogrammetry alone? Thank you.
Doon po sa namin, sa project namin na yun, ang basis po namin ng processing po niyan ay hindi ko na po na-compute ng per kilometer. Basta per lipad po ng drone, kung ano yung downloaded data, yun po ang pinaprocess ng namin sa office. And doon sa buong haba ng project namin na yun, nagkaroon lang po kami ng 5 araw para sa processing ng buong output orthophoto maps.
Okay, 5 days.
Okay.
Mukhang nawala si Sir Patrick. Pero ito, sir, from Engineer Florin, ano kaya possible na gagawin, I think this is for Engineer Patrick. Ano kaya possible na gagawin sa mga naka-cantilever structures na ginawa ng mga occupants sa gilid ng river? Nagiging bottleneck sa river flow.
Actually, parang per hindi lang ordinance, parang meron or under the law, dapat diba tinatanggal na yung mga occupants, especially if, yung mga structures na yun, especially if within the easement siya, within the legal easement. So may plano naman yung government that most of these occupants should be relocated or transferred to resettlement areas. So ang understanding ko doon is magkakaroon ng parang demolition of those illegal structures within the legal easements.
Okay.
Ayan,
bumalik siya.
Bumalik. May gustong mag-audience sa drone survey nyo?
Nawala.
Ma'am,
nawalan ako ng net eh. Pwedeng paano?
Okay. Ang question is kung pwede daw ba siyang maging observer sa mga drone survey ninyo? Si Sir Filomeno Carlos Sicad.
Pwede naman, ma'am. Pwede naman. Basta safe na tayo eh. Pagka
After COVID na daw.
Eh,
Add nyo lang si sa Facebook. And Another one, meron pa dito si from John Gervin Garcia. Parang kaklase mo to, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Engineer Macaso, naging estudyante ko rin to. Paano daw yung sa urban areas? Need pa daw ba ng permit if magpa-apply sa area dito sa Manila?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Palo na pag magtataas ka ng flying height.
Sa kaap.
Yes, ma'am.
Yung more than
Lalo
100
na pag
meters.
120 yata na, ma'am.
Oo.
100.
Pero most of the time, kailangan talaga mag-coordinate sa, especially yung mga local government units din. And kaap. Actually, kaap.
Yes, ma'am. Susulat lang naman doon.
Mukhang naubos din ang questions,
Oo, naubos din. So, maraming salamat sa inyong mga questions. Thank you for participating. Also, we posted the link for the feedback form. We'd really appreciate your feedback because it will help us, it will guide us in our future plans regarding sa mga online activities namin. May humabol. Okay, I hope this is not a dumb question. Paano ba kayo nag-establish ng GCP? Gumamit ba kayo ng traditional survey method or mayroon kayo special device?
Sa akin po, yung mga existing from NAMRIA, dinala namin doon sa nag-traverse kami para makalapit doon sa strip na tinatarget namin. So nag-re-establish kami ng mga bago at nag-recover ng mga luma. Yun po ang ginamit namin ng mga GCPs.
Mukhang non-GE. Mukhang non-GE, sir. So baka mas mag-guide natin siya. Yung nagtanong. So Patrick, sige. Ang tanong niya ay kung anong survey instrument na ginamit for GCP establishment.
Tama yun si sir. Una naghanap tayo ng mga available na approved ground control station dun sa site na malapit. As much as possible, ma-observe ito lahat. Tapos makapagbato ng mga bagong ground control station para sa project. So kung gagamit tayo ng GPS or ng total station para ma-compute yung coordinates niya, at yun yung isusupply natin dun sa drone, sa processing ng drone.
Okay.
So yun.
Sa amin po, RTK ginamit namin pero mga 5 sets of RTK yun tapos kami, static observation. Yun po ang ginawa na.
RTK
sa use of GNSS. So pag network, mas magandang static observation ang gagawin. Ang iba naman, nag-RTK lang. Especially pag maliliit lang yata yung areas. And then of course, total station. Kung gusto mo mag-traverse, go. Rin.
Okay, I think that ends our Q&A part. We thank it. Sir Volts, yes.
Yes. Sir, may tanong lang din ako. Pahabol kay sir.
Okay, di mo pala tapos game.
Yeah, kasi meron siyang sabi niya kayo nag-validate siya ng yung sa topo. So yung top results with regards to validate niya sa RTK yata. So ano yung usual na nyo? Difference na nakita nyo?
Doon sir sa ang na-find out namin sir kasi yung drone output doon bumasi yung contouring ng lahat ng lupa doon sa ibabaw. Doon naman sa from surface water pababa nag-hydro kami. Doon sa transition na yun, doon kami may na-find out na some errors na inorek namin using conventional survey. Trinaverse pa rin namin yung mga erroneous, yung mga portions na may mga errors po using RTK.
So really yung paggamit din ng drones, pag geodetic engineer ka and nasa surveying field ka talaga, alam mo din kung ano talaga yung proper methods din, no? Para ma-survey mo ng tama yung mga areas na nandun kayo. So, importante din, syempre importante na yung gumagamit ng mga instruments na to ay talagang marunong din talaga.
Yes po. Sa amin po, hindi lang po ako ang GE sa field nung time na yan. Meron po kaming mga GE din na nung wala ako, sila nag-take over. So tama po si Ma'am Rhea, talaga yung protocol pa rin sa manual natin, yun ang susundin.
Okay. So kung wala nang tanong, I'm ending the Q&A portion. So give a round of applause to everyone. Just a few reminders before we end. Please do answer the feedback form. We will be also providing the certificates within the next week. Also the presentations. Announcement. Next week will be our last webinar for season 2. So it's going on to be on September 3, Thursday, same time at 10 a.m. If you have more questions, drop a message in our Facebook page or just email us in our Gmail. This webinar, an edited version, will be uploaded in the TPR's FB page and FEF's YouTube channel. Again, thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you to our guest speakers, Engineer Patrick and Engineer Jun Gavino. Thank you to the foundation, to the Asia Foundation and also FEF. And lastly, salamat po sa inyong pag-attend. Thank you sa ating mga attendees for joining us today. Good morning, good noon, and we hope you have a happy lunchtime.